It is freaking.
My brain is starting to get tired.
Yeah.
People don't understand how hot it is in here
Yeah.
until they get in the freaking sauna. I'm not nice to these people. They're not my friends when they're in the sauna. I'm trying to hurt them.
Yeah, my eyes are like just like going back. Like.
Welcome back to Turn Up the Heat, the show where you lock the best and the brightest and the hottest sauna of their entire life. We grill them with questions till one of us taps out or passes out. I'm your host, Derek Evie, and I am excited to have Andrew Eytcheson here today. He is the young prodigy of sales, the wholesale master, the man who makes LTD rich every day. That's what we go for. And he is the newest and probably youngest millionaire in Fort Wayne as of 2024. Glad to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, glad to be here, man. This is awesome. I'm ready to get hot with you.
Yeah, it's fun to say all of those things. And like just looking back 2 years ago when you were like, maybe 3 years ago now, I remember you just being this 18-year-old kid kind of coming on the scene. Everybody's just like already kind of grown. Everybody's kind of already doing our businesses. And then you came on as this kid. And then you started kicking the hell out of everybody at sales like right away. What do you think it is about your childhood, about your young life? What was the thing that you think created this animal in you that even at 17, 18, you're making more than doctors were?
Yeah, no, 100%. I love that question. Big thing for me, it goes back. I've been leaning into it a lot more and thinking about it. I think it's the dirt bike racing.
Yeah.
I really think it's the motocross, and that built so many lifestyle transitions. It built so much confidence. It built a lot of I feel like how I show up today in business and just with myself, because it was only me. It's a single sport, and then my dad was like my coach.
Yeah.
So it reminds me of like how Dakota was with me when I got into business and how we had that dynamic. And that was just huge for me because I'd have to practice every day. Like it's literally like business. It was honestly like a job, and I was doing it through high school. But I was going to races. I was putting myself in the right spot. Like my dad was investing money into my bikes, and so I could have the best. And I even had my own dirt bike track like at my house. So dirt bike racing for me was a big one, and I went all in on it. I was a state champion for years. The year I had stopped, I was supposed to go to Loretta Lynn's for television. At my house I have trophies just stacked everywhere from. That was over a decade of me just doing that, and it was consistent.
Exciting. It's one of those things people don't know about you. I think it's one of the things that we kind of connected on when we first met, because I grew up racing motocross too. My dad was a professional motocross racer, and he always wanted me to be great. I wasn't as good as you. Yeah. I was just a guy who liked to race.
Yeah.
But we raced a lot of tracks. We probably were racing on the same tracks at the same time back then. We just didn't even know we were doing it.
100%.
But I love how you talk about that transition from that into business, because I remember motocross being something that not as only as it take a lot of work, but it's intimidating.
Yeah.
And it's actually, most people are scared to do it. So if you can get really good at doing something that's scary and pushing yourself to do things basically every 5 seconds that are dangerous, then when you get into sales, you're like, I just gotta call people.
Yeah.
All I gotta do is call people. So I love that. Are both your parents entrepreneurs?
My dad is a millionaire, and I never knew that, but my dad always made a lot of money, or he was an engineer. So my mom's not an entrepreneur, but I guess my dad does have. He comes from entrepreneurial background. He's an entrepreneur, I would say. Yeah, with different things. But one thing I was thinking about the dirt bike racing too is just the lessons in business I've learned. I had to learn all of that. The nights I'd cry, or something didn't go my way. Different things, or this hard thing I have to overcome happened, or I crashed in my race and I got second, but I didn't get first, and just different things like that. And too, even after winning so many times, there's times I lost a lot too, and it's just exactly like business. There's a lot of times I've won a lot. There's a lot of times I've lost, but I've learned, and I've just been able to keep moving that forward to get to where I'm at now. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's just.
That's great. No, that's great. I think honestly, from the hiring standpoint for Dakota, and for me hiring coaches, I look for people who have an athletic background. And I would call that athletic background, though most people wouldn't consider 100%. It a normal sport. But these athletic backgrounds, these people who learn, especially hard sports like motocross, wrestling, some of these things. If you find guys that come out of these sort of things, they're going to be dogs. They're just it's kind of the name of the game.
Yeah.
As you transitioned into working at LTD, as you transitioned into making more sales, you're closing 7 figures worth of deals a year easy now. How much work did it take for you to become this person outside of doing the selling? So I think that's one people are like, okay, I'll just cold call until I figure it all out, which you should do. Like if you want to be in sales, sell, you'll get better. But how much exterior work happened, like going to seminars and reading books? How much was that happening?
Yeah, that was a huge part. I went to my first seminar like probably 6 months in with LTD, so that was very eye-opening to me because I got to see people like Ryan Pineda and them that were doing it like on a huge level. So like for me, like I said, like I already knew the background I had from dirt bike racing. I had a big ego from the beginning, and I had to work through that a lot. And it came from dirt bike racing because I was like, I'm the best. And like when you're the best in dirt bike racing or number one, like you're put out there and like known, and like you receive a lot from the work. But it still went back to having to do the same thing every day with racing. But yeah, the seminars, that was a huge part. And then too, just having a guy like Dakota, like having a mentor like Dakota, just with everything he taught me with sales, but outside of it, like I got to learn from his lessons with even like his previous marriage or like relationships he's had or just different things like that too, and him giving me insight on like there's more out there with like life too besides just like grinding and doing business. And we were both very passionate about that, but he just helped me set it up in a way where it's like if you get really good at your skill, then you can maximize your skill with the hours that you're here, or maximize the skill, do less hours, but like produce with that time you're using with the skills. So the seminars, everything Dakota's put into me, a lot of things I did outside of the office, like YouTube videos. I mean, I did a lot when I was in high school still, because I was like, okay, once I get out of high school, then it's just strictly there. Yeah. So like while I still have, time, I'm still doing my job for X amount of hours, I wanted to put X amount of hours like while I was in school of like videos or training or just things they provided me and reading, and just so I could, I knew I was already getting better at this and I was getting mentored or having them help me grow and learn the role. But outside, I was like, if I do the books, if I do all this other stuff, that was like mindset through high school. And then after I was going through the seminars in high school, then I was like, wow, these people, the people have the result because they put themselves in the room.
Yes. I think the big things there I hear is, one, the network matters so much. Be in the right rooms, be with the right people. And I love the credit you give to Dakota, which is beautiful. And like the questions that come from that, because one, it is beautiful. You guys really do have like a brotherly relationship, big brother, little brother. And I know he talks so highly of you, you talk so highly of him, and I love seeing that. Does that make you desire to role model for other people?
Yes.
Like, do you see yourself stepping into a light in the next coming years where you start leading others, where you start coaching others, you start doing something like that for others?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I'm on that path right now. I think that's what I started like right when I started posting the social media videos, kind of planting that seed, and now it's been going. Got to start getting more strategic with it. But yeah, I think just Dakota's going to just another level, and I know I'm going to too, but he's soaring. He's the visionary.
Yes.
And I'm inside of the company, so I think for me, I want to, like everything he's taught me, like I want to be able to shine that light on other people and to what I've done with it and how I've consumed the information and applied it. I want to give people that blueprint and roadmap, and kind of just, Dakota taught me so many valuable lessons, and I know what I've been able to do with them and what it's taught me. So I want to like do that for other people, and kind of too, it's like shining Dakota's light through me, but also it's my light because he shined his light to me, and I've been able to shine to other people. So he's a huge person and impact in my whole real estate journey.
Beautifully said. Said. Because like I said, I mean, we're all blessed to have Dakota. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Like we're blessed to have. I mean, you specifically with Dakota because he's in your business model, but even for others, Dakota, he really spreads the positivity. He's had impact on mine. He's someone that I've had many times in my business career where I've been in a loss. I've been in a lack of knowledge, or even in spiritual moments.
Yeah.
I've called him, and he'll give me a really good speech, or he'll give me a really good lesson. And so I think we can all tandem back to that. And I think we all, like you said, it's just the group.
Yeah.
And not take away from him, but seriously, we are so freaking blessed to have the people we have around us. I think about it all the time. Like, there are so many people in Fort Wayne, and I experienced a lot because of my wife. She works a regular job.
Yeah.
She's always been around regular people. Her family's all 9-to-5ers, and like they have no understanding. They're never around. Like, if you make $100,000 to a lot of these people, that's like astronomically crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you're a millionaire basically.
Yeah.
Like, but we're surrounded by people making millions of dollars all the time. People doing deals so big that they feel fake to anybody who's not in our circle.
Yeah.
So I think when we get so blessed to be around these people, not only does it give us the gift of they give us their knowledge, which is Thank you. But also is that the confidence in the fact that it's possible. Like you I'm sure you can allude to that, but like at LTD, the culture is clearly one of the biggest things that you guys lean on, is like the culture of winning, the culture of success, the culture of it is possible seems to be what you guys do really well. Can you express how you think that exists there?
Yeah. I think because we're doing the stuff daily, and even if we have a time where, you know, somebody slips or doesn't miss the list, we're so brutally honest and upfront. We have so much like our core values: humility, ethics, growth mindset, and then.
Everybody in real estate, it seems like, is aspiring to work for you guys. They want to be a part of the team, and the culture really is like, I've actually pulled a lot of cultural knowledge for my own company from LTD, like the meetings and the mindset and how we speak and how we build and how we grow. Like I said, I've pulled a lot of that at times from LTD, because you guys just have this uncompromisable, that's the best word for it, it's uncompromising, like culture. Like it feels like you guys would sacrifice $1 million deal if it was going to be in conflict with the culture of the company.
Yeah,
and that's something you don't see. That's something you don't see across the board. People will incentivize money, they will incentivize sales, they will incentivize themselves or selfish needs before they incentivize the culture of the company. And I do think that's why you guys are winning. Because most people along the way would have fucked up, and they would have ruined something or done something wrong because they wouldn't have put the culture first. No,
I agree. That's definitely put first there, and to like, again, like with you for Hercules, like you can be the standard for all your employees. To Dakota, like every single day, no matter how hard it is, and even if it is hard, like he will tell us straight up the truth and what he's going through and doing it. So that it's kind of like Andy Elliott and those guys. Like Andy Elliott is the standard, and then you go down the pyramid of his company, and everybody is just a whole nother level. Because of what. Of their leader. He's created this
organism almost at a certain point.
And too, just like I love it, like us, we're obviously already doing that, and that's great, and it's like, it's a great environment to show up to. And again, like I'm very skeptical. I feel weird when I'm in different other environments, and like it's not just like how we are at the company. Like I have to remember sometimes, like, okay, like to like be normal sometimes too, like, and be okay with people being in certain different other environments, but they might not be like where we're at, or have like that, you know, hey, you didn't wake up at this time, or you didn't go to the gym, and you're a piece of crap. Like just like have grace for some other people like that. So it is hard to balance that when you're just constantly around that energy and people, but like it feels so good. It's like you don't want to get around anybody else, and you're winning, and like you're hitting so many areas of life. You're making money, you're changing, like you get to see a new way of life. And I think once you start getting a little bit of taste of that, it is addicting, and then it can draw in a whole other things to your life that you weren't expecting, and you get to choose if you want to do business with it or not. That's the greatest part.
You could just be involved, and even for you, if you left now, if you stopped doing business, if you stopped doing any of this stuff, if you just lived on your rental properties and you did something like that, the values you've gained, not just the money you've gained, the values you've gained for being there are so big. Some of the questions I guess I have for you that you'd be a great person to ask is, you guys lean into so many different directions. You guys have the Ryan Pineda direction, you guys have the Ed Milet direction, you guys have the Andy Frisella direction, you guys have the Andy Elliott direction. You have what, in my opinion, so many of these guys are linearly the same, but they have very different mindsets about what is the right way to handle things. Like Andy Elliott can be very cutthroat. He can be yelling at you. He's very pushy sales. He's like, don't be a pussy, sort of. And then there's other guys you guys follow who are like your inner child and like love yourself. Like, how do you guys find balance at LTD between all these things? Like, do you find that there's a specific direction the culture pushes, or do you guys think you guys are good at balancing like the kind of all of it at once?
I think we're really good at balancing all of it at once, and I think there's different seasons that come. It is freaking. Like just talking and stuff like now, I'm like, wow, I'm actually inhaling like the air and stuff, like it's actually hard.
My brain is starting to get tired.
I've never done this.
People, I'd say it every episode, people don't understand how hot it is in here until they get in the freaking sauna.
And it's just this tight space.
We crank this thing up hotter than any sauna you've ever been in. I'm not nice to these people. They're not my friends when they're in the sauna. I'm trying to hurt them.
You can see them. I feel like my eyes are like just like going back like the whole time talking. I feel like I'm looking at you straight, but then it's like, it's still like dim, but
it's the best. It's the best.
Yeah.
So balancing these cultural differences, like the Andy Elliott's versus the Andy Versellas versus the Ed Milet's. How do you guys find a good balance there? Is it just picking which one works best for you? You said there's kind of the seasons of it. Explain what you mean by that.
Yeah, so like right now, like, you know, with some of the stuff that's been going on, we've really been leaning towards like, you know, a lot of like the daily quotes that Dakota gives us every morning in our meeting have been a lot of like faith-based, or again, coming from guys like Bradley, Andy Frisella, or like, honestly, Andy Elliott in them, and like, you know, they get hated on 24/7, and there's a lot of like controversy, even with the Pinedas in them too, but just the way of handling it, I guess, like that. And Evan Macklin was saying something to the team, and he was just like, he's like, you know what, like what we say when we get another hater, like we're freaking like blessed.
Yeah.
Like we're grateful for that other person to like come into our lives and like be another enemy, because it allows us to get better as a company.
Grow.
And we have been able to get such better as a company and grow. Like these last couple weeks have been like amazing and like honestly very intensifying for us, and like just moving, and we're doing it in such a positive way, and it feels great just the way it's happening. But just like when something like that happens, even though, you know, that like there was factual information, but the rest was like true.
Yes.
And it wasn't deep, so we're not going to get into that. But anyway, it just allowed us that little tiny little thing, even though we weren't in the wrong, like it allows us to get better and have a new perspective and way of like how we show up to people and how we treat our clients.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity for us to treat our clients even better than we already were, and just like it was a good thing to just set back at and be like, okay, we've gotten this far, and like it's been this many times into it, but like, all right, one thing could happen. Like it's just so cool the phases of I've seen of the business grow since I've started, and just seeing how it weekly by daily, it's just literally evolving and changing 24/7. So we went to those guys because those guys are like getting a different type than maybe like an Ed Milet, like we're not like an Ed Milet or something like that. So I think it's just seasons of how the business and like the updates and what changes in it weekly happen go based off of like who we're getting information from, or like what we're planning in our mind. Like we're getting ready to go in February up to Andy Elliott, Eric Klein, like beginning of February down there, because we want to get close with those guys, because like we're attracting already at things similar back here.
Yeah,
we have a mix of a lot of them, like the Pineda and Andy.
It's always different too for you guys, and for some of the guys in our group that are up there, is that you guys aren't just inherently watching Andy Elliott videos. It's one thing if you're sitting at home watching Andy Elliott videos, because those are going to be the jazzed up, exaggerated versions, the hot moments, the worst thing he did this week that really gets views, and he probably loves that still because it's a lot of views.
Yeah.
But you guys are there actually talking to him. You guys are actually spending time with him. That's a blessing. I mean, Dakota actually was in Ed Milet's house. Spent the day with Ed Milet in his house, and like stuff like that. That once again, the blessings of the people who were around. Our good buddy Jordan, I think, went with him. I think he was there with him. But I love this, and I love what you said. You really, I want to hop back to it because it's so important. Is not the situation itself, but in business, I've dealt with it myself, is that you get haters, you get these negative people, and I think it's just a commonality in the fact that the bigger you get, just in all groups, if you take the left politically or right politically, they're full of some stupid people. If you take, you know, the fitness people or the unhealthy people, they're full of some stupid people. Any categories we could break up, there's stupid people subtly mixed within every group. So as your company gets bigger and you deal with more people, the likelihood you run into more of these stupid people is always going to happen. And that was something that was hard for me to accept, because I'm like, I'm working harder. I'm growing this business. In my business, very specifically for us, like we're coaching people to be healthy. How can you hate? How can you? But they do. They find a way. You guys are like doing these deals. I've seen the way that you guys try to handle things in the background, and it's always professional. And it's like, the big thing there is, like, I love what you said, there's an opportunity to grow. Because even within every hate, within every one of those moments, there probably is, just like all, a grain of truth. And that doesn't mean that any of it's valid. It's just that, wow, let's cross that just all the way off the list. If there's even a 1% of this problem, let's get that all the way off the list, because now nobody can ever say that about us again. And that same thing, so if you do that every month, every year, for years, what you do is you really build such a perfect business where, like, you know, on every scale, and that's the funny part. They'll still find things to say, but you create a situation where anybody who comes against you looks stupid. And I love that kind of happened in this scenario for you guys. So
it goes back, like, we just got closer with our core values too. Like our core values that we have, like, we just got closer to those core values and really like leaned on each other more, and like, it felt really good. Like, no matter what. So
connecting as a company, and I will say, It also, and I was in one of the people who was doing this aspect, but of promoting you guys and helping you guys during it. And my big thing there is not about me. It's more just, isn't it beautiful? I've been there. I've been in hard times, and then other people are commenting for me to defend me. Isn't it great when something happens and the community comes?
Yes.
To like back you up, like, oh man, people see.
I'm so glad you leaned on that. I was really about to say that again. Just like, you know, we went to Florida last year for Dakota's birthday. Like, we've known each other for X amount of time. It's just cool how, you know, when we're all in similar pathways or aligned just in life, just when we need each other at the most, like, there's no question about it. Like, we're going to that person.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. I mean, honestly, if you're someone watching and you don't have these people, and also add to it, it's not always just the easiest to find these people, but like get in local business groups, get connected. If you are, you know, somebody in like Fort Wayne who runs a business, just getting involved with like the Chamber of Commerce is a great way to get connected with groups of business people, because the more you move your way into that group, the more you connect with people, the more you're going to find people like this, where you can build relationships that are both business positive and just personally positive. So those are beautiful things. I got to pick your brain outside of LTD on just who you are, Andrew, and how people can become a little bit more like you. Because I've watched you grow a lot the last couple of years. I've been blessed enough to be coaching you at times and get a really personal, like transparent behind the scenes perspective of you. And I say this with the most respect, is that 2-3 years ago, in a lot of ways, you were egotistic. Like simple words, you were like a young buck, little asshole sometimes, and that can happen. Like it's just when you're 18, but you've transitioned so much into being a man, and I mean that in the most real way, like into being a good man in the last 3 years. Like doesn't seem like a kid anymore. Doesn't seem like the little young guy anymore. Like someone people respect, someone people would actually go to for advice, that you would expect to actually lead and do things. So it's like, how did you do that? How did you go from like the ego to like truly being better? How did you go from young to aging into a really good category? And after that, how can other people who hear this go, I'm also in that same shoes, whether it's my fitness career or my business career or anything, I want to become more mature and more respected. How do I do that? So I think that's a huge question people want to hear from you.
Yeah, no. So yeah, I mean, for me, man, honestly, like, you know, I just look back to my childhood, I looked how I was raised, but like probably from 17, like when cause like, dude, honestly, like I was not, like I didn't really go with like father figure role like too often. Like I was too young to like remember a lot of what it was, so I was always confused for a while of like, what is it like to be a man, or what are the characteristics of a man? And like I grew up with, you know, like living in a household with like my mom and my sister, so like I had a lot of like feminine energy. Like I was very just like, you know, I wanted to feel comfortable, all these other things, but like I knew I had this line inside of me. Really, honestly, once I got started in the real estate, when my uncle started mentoring me at first, he built a lot of my confidence, and I also too like got to hear other perspectives of like stories maybe of my childhood that I didn't know too much about. I'm gonna get deep, like too much about like my parents' divorce. So I didn't know both sides. I just, you know, thought it was all
the assumption you had.
Yeah. So then like after that, and I found out more, and it wasn't any negative for the either side or but that really instilled a fire into me of like wanting to like have love again for my dad and like be around him. But then also too, I'm like, dude, he's an engineer. Like I knew he was always making a lot of money. Like, dude, he helped me become what I was when I was dirt bike racing. So, I mean, I have so many memories there, and then I just remember, like, even as a child, I've got to go back deep and, like, think about it. Like, I've got to that point in my brain where, like, I can remember the things that he was teaching me during dirt bike racing. And even though, like, what I went through and being egotistical and, like, having to go through all that, like, honestly, that was going to have to happen no matter what, because I never got to get to the point of the lessons with my dad where it was like, hey, here's how to control it. Because, like, dude, I was just an animal. Like, I just ate. And, yeah, so once I got up with doing my uncle, and so my uncle like wanted to teach me how to become a better man. I was reading books, like I was doing things that like I just normally was not doing in high school. Like I'm just used to going to school, you know, doing sports, like, you know, being on my phone, like not working. Like I was like, dude, I got another year until I'm getting out of high school. Like this is great.
Don't need to stress about anything.
So my uncle, and then transitioning like PSI, that was
a big deal.
That's a big deal. I honestly think for anybody that wants to get to where I'm at or get to where you're at, or, you know, actually have these thoughts about these questions and ask themselves it, they have to go to Psy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They have to go to Psi and they need to go to the second one after it.
Yeah, Psi 7.
Yeah, because I went a year after and I was just like, dang, if I could have went a year sooner, like I just wonder like what would have changed. But anyway, both of those were great, but that really just, it's all you. Like it's a reflection in you, your childhood, how you remember growing up, like who you wanted to be growing up, like who you looked up to, how these people made you feel. Like there's so much more, but that's like a lot of like just emotion side of it, of just like what you think internally or what I thought internally. So yeah, I mean, from there I was like, it's time to grow. Like after that, I was so motivated. I was like, I need to get around these group of people.
Yes.
And then I got around the group of people. I started to shorten this up a bit. I started asking for what I want. I was already doing it a year before I went to Psi. So I was like, dude, I got a track record. I got receipts. Like I already am doing something before. I was like putting out there on Facebook that I was looking for deals and doing everything with my uncle. Like I was helping him. And yeah, it built confidence with him because I'm like, I look back behind, like, not just the act I'm doing. Somebody can make fun of me for just being like, oh, why are you posting houses on Facebook?
Yeah.
Oh, you're still like, bro, like, you're not going to do it. And I already had all that hate and went through that. But I knew, like, I'm with the right guy. He has success, and he's going to lead me the right way if I follow instructions and take action on what he gives me. And that's how I've gotten everywhere. That's what I took with Dakota, what he gave me. That's what I did. And honestly, like, it's teachable, but you just, like, dude, it's a mindset thing for me. Like, I just operate at a different level. You know how you operate at a different level, but, like, I just go out and get what I want, and I'll do whatever it takes. And
that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think what you hit on was so many important things for anybody who's like, how do I do this? Which is like, one, the simplest things. It was like the reading the books and getting these things in your head. Doing the seminars. They cost money, but they are so valuable. Like some of them are cheaper. You can get in there for a few $100. Some of them are expensive.
ask somebody to pay for you even.
Yeah, most of these things we do have so many contributors who will pay for a lot of members to go. So always reaching out, staying in the circle. And I do love what you said about the masculine and the feminine energy. I think, like my own opinion on it from working with people, I work with people all the time, is not necessarily anything political or anything even like that. It's just that for a lot of men, they struggle nowadays balancing masculine and feminine energy. And I think most people are balanced way too far in the feminine. I think societally we balance way too far in the feminine. I think, and that the more feminine is, the more emotional, the more reactive, the less stoic, to simplify it. And I think the more that you and other people have translated into being these more masculine, grown men, you can see that stoicism coming about them, where it's no longer needs to be the show parade, it no longer needs to be amazing.
Like it can still be about me, but I'm going to impact other people in so many different ways where like that's going to come no matter what, but just not being about me and helping them go through the same thing that I went through or similar and giving them the tools that I was able to learn. So that's one thing too that I've had to kind of transition to is like I got to keep going and doing me, and I'm going to reach different levels of maybe, people, seeing myself on social media or maybe like even the Brian DeVille podcast. I mean, that really changed a lot for me, honestly.
It's a huge deal.
Yeah, when I think about that, like that changed a lot for me, honestly, going into the rest of the year with the company and just where I'm heading with wanting to do that stuff. So yeah, just like showing up, and it took me years before I ever really got on any other stuff. Like I really wanted to like build myself up, not where it was like I was going out saying like, look at me, look at this, look at that, because like I've done that before in like middle school, or acted like, oh yeah, I got some money, and then like I'd go and blow it or like do this, and then like I didn't really have it. So like I've always been the guy, I've never really flaunted or posted or like been like, hey, look at me, or like anything like that, like maybe in ways, but like with me like buying stuff and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like I've never really done that because I see people do it and I know what their life's like, and I've seen them, and I'm like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that. And too, I'm like, I've doubled my money or whatever just within what I've invested in my rental investments.
Yes.
So it's like I delayed gratification, dude, and social media is hard for people to have that, but even with the gym and stuff, like being back now.
Especially with young guys, that's the big thing. Young guys, you see all these young guys come in the industry and doing all this stuff, and the delayed gratification is the biggest part of it that they don't understand. It's very hard when you're 20 to understand that 28 comes fast. And I'm 28, gonna be 29, and I can tell you, it moves so fast. I remember being somewhat successful and people being like, oh man, you're 20, you got a business. It was like that sort of vibe, and very quickly that stop being the young guy, you stop being that other, like the prodigy, you stop getting these titles, and you just be the guy, just the guy, and you're someone that I was literally with Jonathan Combs, our best bud last night, and you're just this guy that when your name comes up in conversation, people are just like, yeah, but Andrew's just a machine. Like Andrew's just an animal. Like if we're trying to make a comparison of anybody at the company, or we're trying to talk about who's growing, who's stuff, it's like you're not even in the conversations because of the fact that you've set the bar so far ahead that it's kind of like people racing Usain Bolt. Like people are just trying to figure out who's going to get silver medals. Like everyone knows they're not going to beat him. And as far as sales go, you've really just You've created that. You've done it. And you've already created enough success for yourself that at 21 years old, you could really go, I'm done.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. And I think that's going to elude even more confidence in you because now there's no scarcity. Now there's no fear. Like, you are free. You're a millionaire. If you want to be a millionaire and just give up and just make a little money on the side with your money, you can. And you could. So that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oof, you getting hot?
I'm getting hot for sure. We're going to keep going. But
yeah, we're going to fight.
Wow. One thing, too, with that, one thing I thought about even, too, like, even after hitting the million net worth mark is, like, dude, like, I was scared going into like the couple months, like after I went to Andy Elliott, I did the Brian Villa podcast, like it was all like Dakota's been like we've been telling people if they ask, like I was around like that 800, 900-ish mark, like I was right there like on my net worth, and that applied also like very good pressure for me. Not like anything was like I took it that way because I knew what it would do to me.
For sure.
And I was like, dude, I cannot hit this at 22. Like yeah, I would have still been proud and stuff, but I set that goal when I was 17 for myself.
Yes.
Like I was already talking about it with my uncle. I was talking about like Dakota and them were like, yeah, you could be at like 23, 25. Like everybody was saying like what ages I could have been and like it's a possibility at 21, but I'm like, no, like not that they didn't believe in me that I could have done, but it's like that's my standard. Yes. 21 or nothing. Yeah. And like just going hard at it, and like me setting it at 21 or nothing could be like, well, what about this and what about that? It's like, no, I'm just focused on the present right now of getting whatever result I need to get, whatever that looks like for me going back on the back end and looking at it from my eyes and how I'm going to attack it is just boom. Like I would just like take the right action. Even when I didn't get the one day, I'm like, I had the amount of volume to lead into the next day. Yeah. And I've just done that too. Like there's been weeks I've gone without nothing. There's been weeks I have, and like I just continue to do the same thing.
Yeah. The big thing there is just do the work. I hear that so much. So do the work, and I love the manifestation. Dude, it's fucking hot.
Yeah. Holy cow.
It cooks in here. I'm in here doing this every time, and I have to pretend it's not hard. I'm sitting here just like in my own head, just like, this sucks.
Holy cow.
It cooks in here.
And being right by it is even crazier.
Yep. We really put ourselves right on the heater, so it's cooking. It's cooking. I think that there's so many lessons for people to learn from you, so I want to rapid fire some quick, easier questions because I want people to hear them. So, okay, so you are a killer at sales, you're a killer at all these things, but in your free time, what are the things that developed you there? So I'm going to start with, what are your 2 favorite books? What are the 2 books that you recommend the most to people?
2 favorite books, Millionaire Fastlane.
Beautiful.
That was great. And then,
the heat gets you. The heat makes the hard one.
Yeah, I'm trying to like really, I want to deliver Millionaire Fastlane and Think and Grow Rich.
Think and Grow Rich is a great one.
Yeah.
It's a great one. I think those are some of the books. I've actually never read Millionaire Fastlane. I need to put it on my damn list now. That's amazing.
I have a lot more books I want to read too. Like that's an area of life to tidbit 2025, like going hard on education and stuff a ton more.
Reading is huge. I think I've seen a lot of guys that do like the book a week mindset and they become something different. You become a different animal. So as we go into the next subject, you're someone who has prioritized health and fitness and well-being and these things along the way too. How do you think that those have impacted your business?
It's changed everything. When I see a different way I look, when I know I've been going in the gym and knowing that's what makes me get the different look and eating the food and just, again, following it consistently, delayed gratification, I'm all over that shit.
Yes.
I love that shit.
Isn't it addicting?
And I'm ready, like, I'm back. We're back on training.
It's coming. I said we're gonna get Andrew back into the giant beast that he is and he always has been. He's still got a lot of muscle. You can see it on him. He's got abs. He's got pecs. He's got arms.
A week in. We're
gonna fill him up. We're gonna fill him back up. It's gonna be amazing.
A week back in. I'm super excited.
Make sure you lean this way a little bit just because of the camera. Yeah. So make sure you stay in frame. I know it's hot. I know it's real hot in here. So what are the activities that Andrew likes to do outside of work? Because most people would say nothing. Yeah. So what does it look like for Andrew to have a free day, free time? Is it relaxing for just a time period? Watching TV, love that. Is it movies? Is it video games? Is it like some outdoor activity, something athletic, a sport? What do you do? Yeah,
love playing golf. Just recently got into golf like a couple years ago. Still not that great at it, but love doing that. I do love doing swimming or sauna or like any physical activity, working out, doing the free time. I really like to strategize my weeks of like what went good for the business, and really like a lot of it still is business. Like going over the weekend, like I like doing different things that are back end that I will apply next week to use them there and see how it goes. So I like doing that. Video games, I do like playing like video games sometimes, like strategy games, like I really like strategy, strategy shooting type of games. So I like doing that, and then just hanging out with friends.
Good.
You know, just going to the seminars, growing, like just all that stuff is like, I love just.
Once you start doing business, people will be like, what is it you do? Like, how do you spend your time? And you'll be like, oh, well, I just work. And then people will think this negative connotation, but it's no, this is fun. This is my game. This is my sport. This is the 3 touchdown lead that I want to get this week. This is what that is. When we close a bunch of new clients, or we help a bunch of people, or we get a bunch of crazy stats for the month, that is my touchdown. And for you, when you close fucking 25 properties or 30 properties in a month, that is like we blew them out of the water level.
And it gives me a little bit of freedom where like next month I'll maybe like, not push as hard, or like still push, but hard in a different aspect of my life that I want to focus more on, and then just fill in with what I've already been doing.
Oh, the sauna's taking your soul right now. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah,
I can see it in your eyes. It's hard, isn't it?
Dude, I want to say it, but I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God, let's get one more question. Let's get one more good question. So, I am in the process of building my business and scaling people and trying to develop a big system, and you guys are doing the same thing at LTD, but you are so incremental in that system. You're such a big player. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Do you see yourself in a CEO position? Do you see yourself in a sales lead of a massive market? Do you see yourself selling, coaching? What do you see yourself in 5 years, even 2 years?
Yeah, being a higher level in business within the company, maybe managing people, still helping within my job, maybe like a lead manager. I love closing deals. But yeah, maybe something where it's like somebody's still like buying back my time to like close the deals or help, and I just kind of come in as the closer, but I don't worry about in the back and stuff. So kind of just to like keep growing through in the company where it's like it's not just sell. Like I want to stay in that, but like grow within that, whatever that looks like for us. And then just like the gym.
Yeah, physically you want to improve a shit ton over the next 2 years.
Yeah, I want to improve a ton in the next 2 years. I want to grow my social media. I want to work on getting closer to like having a like-minded relationship or somebody I can relate with and grow with.
Yep,
and then,
good relationship.
Really, I'm really focused on my body changing and open into fitness. Maybe doing some coaching in the future if I can. Maybe do some automation. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But
it's coming.
I'm just looking to be a public figure. I just want to keep growing that public figure.
So I know you're hot. So I want to make sure we get some of these important ones out. How do people connect with Andrew? If they see this, hey, I want to watch Andrew. I want to follow him. I want to do it. Give me all the links. Give me all the stuff.
Yep. So Instagram is Andrewski. It's 2 W's, 3 I's. Snapchat, Andrew Eytcheson, if you want to reach me on there. Facebook, Andrew Eytcheson. Just look me up. It's EYTCHESON. Look me up on YouTube, Andrew Eytcheson, and then TikTok, and Andrewski again with the 2 W's.
If you have any deals, contact us, man.
Yeah, send me deals if you want to learn about wholesaling more. You have deals for us to maybe give you some feedback on or information. Love to partner with you. Love to do more deals with you. And we're just looking to grow with more people that are looking to get into entrepreneurship, no matter the form or no matter the way. So reach out to Derek or I, and it was great coming on this.
I love it. We like to get people out of here before they pass out. That would be funny. But the tap out and pass out are coming. So right now we need you to hit the fake metaphorical buzzer button right here. It's like, he tapped. But that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You were in here for a long time.
I was just saying, it feels like 35 minutes.
This sauna is hot. Normally this sauna 20 minutes is absolutely miserable. We're usually in here with these podcasts for 35. It's probably actually dangerous, but this is for you guys. Look at his big muscles. Let's get the muscle show out. Let's flex them a little bit. I love it. Let's get you the hell out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for coming, Andrew. You survived.
Dude, I don't even know if I can barely breathe.
Turning up the heat, boys. This stuff's no joke. He toughed it out.